This episode features the Ingenuity helicopter discovering unsettling spaceship debris before losing touch with the rover. Perseverance in the meantime sees a light object and eventually makes it to the imposing delta face, and after that, it finds itself surrounded by rocks on Sol 359. The rover rotates around and scans the opposite direction, concluding the same thing: there are more rocks. Some of the rocks turn out to be pretty interesting upon closer examination. This one has a noticeable huge crack. And notice how this rock is layered. It almost resembles what you might see from a stream on Earth. A hitchhiker is seen inside one of the rover's wheels on Sol 362. This pebble most likely became stuck in the wheel while the rover was driving cross-slope, which involves moving diagonally over a slope. It doesn't endanger the objective and will eventually disappear on its own. The rover is currently preparing for its farthest and swiftest drive. In the meantime, the Ingenuity chopper makes its 20th flight in the air while scouting ahead for the rover and photographing the surrounding area in color. Beyond the rocks, the ground appears to be reasonably secure. The rover's camera is instructed to focus on its own body on Sol 368 so the team can measure the amount of dust buildup. These photos demonstrate what a rover might experience after a year on the Martian surface. Before beginning the arduous journey to the delta front, Perseverance collects a drill sample from a rock by the name of Sid. To regulate the intensity of the force and percussion, the group employs a program called ProdApt. The algorithm has levels ranging from 0 to 20, and when you move through the rock, the level either rises or falls. Sid required the most force to drill than any other rock to date. Perseverance is presently in the rapid traverse phase, trying to get to the delta as soon as possible for its next science campaign. The route to the delta is shown on this map. The rover will ascend past Sida and continue to a place called the Three Forks. The rover can think while driving thanks to its sophisticated self-driving technology, which enables it to interpret photographs while on the road and navigate using those visuals. The rover briefly examines the beginning of the delta after a short drive. In the foreground, a tiny crater can be observed. Off-screen to the right is where the majority of the delta may be found. Perseverance has surpassed records for the distance traveled in a single day and is currently moving faster than any previous rover. It is moving quickly over fairly smooth terrain, covering a total distance of 4.1 miles or 6.6 kilometers, or roughly 1 mile each week. Excitement on Earth increases as Perseverance approaches the delta. It's quite likely that we could find fossilized remains in the layers that make up the delta if life once existed on Mars. The towering delta reveals its real size as the rover approaches. Directly ascending the delta might be disastrous for Perseverance. A quick pause is made by the rover to view a solar eclipse on Mars. The larger of the two Martian moons, Phobos, may be seen in this image. This film was taken to capture a solar eclipse on Mars in its finest possible clarity. In actual time, the eclipse lasted a little over 40 seconds. These observations allow scientists to track minute changes in the moon's orbit over time, which can provide details on the makeup of the Martian crust and mantle. The NASA team notices something in one of the photos received on Sol 401. It looks to be a component of the parachute that made the rover's safe landing possible. The strips of red and white are easily visible. Perseverance is standing on Sol 402 and is facing the delta's degraded eastern edge. Boulders that have accumulated at the delta's edge may have been transported there by powerful floods in the distant past. During Sols 404 and 405, the rover uses its auto-navigation to record a video of its movements. Perseverance traversed both Sols by over 1,700 feet, or little over half a kilometer. The video has been 200 times sped up. This photograph, which was captured on Sol 406, reveals an impressive section of the delta. The rover is anticipated to resemble Kodiak, which we first observed from a distance during the first year of investigation. The layers that make up the formation may be seen clearly thanks to the closer inspection. Perseverance is now engaged in the Delta Front campaign after completing its rapid traverse mode. Geologists will look at the transition between the rocks that make up the delta and those that make up the crater bottom. On Sol 411, when the rover surveys Higwalo Flats, a region near the delta, scientists notice something intriguing off in the distance. One can glimpse something bright and shiny hidden under a rock. Scientists expect to travel closer to it as part of the planned route, and it has been given the inventive moniker Bright Material for the time being. The item's length is thought to be about 30 centimeters. In the meantime, Ingenuity makes its 26th flight in the air and witnesses something genuinely amazing. We had earlier seen the back shell and the parachute from the stage of descent. 10 color photographs of the collision site are taken in total by the helicopter from various perspectives. Future rovers' landings might be safer thanks to these pictures. The Perseverance team requested permission for the helicopter's 27th flight to check out a place called Fortune Ridge. Scientists will be able to better comprehend the history of the crater bottom and the forces that were in play billions of years ago thanks to Ingenuity's survey, which will enable them to compare the Flight 27 photos with information gathered by Perseverance. However, following this mission, Ingenuity encountered a communication failure with the Perseverance rover due to a low power state, which may have been brought on by an increase in seasonal dust and a reduction in temperature from the approaching Martian winter. The solar-powered batteries that power Ingenuity are essential, but the increasing airborne dust makes it difficult to charge the helicopter's batteries sufficiently to keep critical parts powered during the night. To keep the battery charged throughout the night, the crew is instructing the rotorcraft to change how it uses its heaters. NASA's deputy program scientist Adrian Brown speculated on Perseverance's possible emotions following the loss of communication with the chopper. From Perseverance to Ingenuity, it penned the following letter. I have missed you, little one. We used to be the closest of friends, superior to Batman and Robin as companions. 2 metallic earth creatures were delivered by those monkeys carrying tools to this red wilderness. I kept you safe for more than 7 months in my artificial tummy. I'm concerned that I've seen you all, and with whom will I take selfies? We knew we would have to part ways since we were created in California when our terrible mission started. However, I had hoped for more ceremony, a minimum of a farewell handshake. I clearly recall the tragic day when you failed the communications check. Your battery would not have been able to keep you going safely through the Martian day with the sun lowering. As winter draws to a close, we were forced to leave you in a position that was bathed in sunlight and hope you would return to me. Luckily, Ingenuity resumes communication on Sol 429, barely 2 sols later. Although it appears that the letter was the key, it was likely more sunlight and fewer dust, which allowed Ingenuity's solar panels to absorb more energy. Perseverance took this panorama on Sol 437 while looking up towards the impassable delta face. The crew decides that Hawksbill Gap, which is located here, is the ideal area to try because climbing the delta will be challenging. Perseverance starts its ascent of Hawksbill Gap on Sol 439. The rover has already traversed some difficult terrain, but this is the toughest. We want to extend a sincere appreciation and very grateful for your help because it enables us to continue chronicling this amazing experience. Thank you for viewing, and please remember to share and like this video.